This is a filter, and in this case we use it for filtering tea leaves out of the tea, because what I want is the tea. What I do not want are all those nasty brown tea leaves. Believe it or not, a photographic filter is very, very similar to the tea strainer in that it strains out or filters light from areas of the picture where you don't want it. For example, the Lee Filters building behind me here has got a really, really bright sky going on. But if I pop a neutral density grad filter across the front of the camera here, you should be able to see I can filter out some of that brightness in the sky, and it makes a hell of a difference. Now I know part of my face is dark, it's because it's encroaching into the area that's being filtered. Amazingly, these things are all made by hand, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring you down here and introduce you to a guy who's bought me many a pub lunch over the years. Eddie.
Hello, nice to see you again, mate.
How are you doing, mate? It's nice to see you. This is Eddie Ruffell, Managing Director of Lee Filters. He's very kindly volunteered to show everyone around, and we can see how your exciting filters are made.
Great, glad to see you here.
Lead on, sir.
Come this way, please.
Go on.
The first thing the filters do, they don't actually come here as filters, they actually come here as a liquid. And we have to turn the liquid into a rigid piece of polycarbonate, because only then can we dye the product and turn it into a filter. So you can see here that we've got some liquid, which is a monomer, going into a cell where the liquid is retained by the two sheets of glass which have been tested for optical flatness. And then that cell will be put in the oven to finish the process, which is called polymerization.
Wow, so what you're basically getting is a load of stuff, a load of chemicals, and then you kind of bond and cook.
Yes.
What I really, really love is this huge bulldog clip.
The bulldog clip is literally holding it together. Where the preciseness is the gasket that's holding the two sheets of glass apart. That's a specific gasket which is to an exact dimension, so that when we make our resin filter, it's of a perfect parallelity.
Yeah.
We then take the mould down to here. The mould,
a cooker.
This is a cooker, an oven, and I'm sure things like this can be used for making bread, although we wouldn't recommend that here. A load of cells will be placed at all the different levels into the oven, and the oven door is closed, and we currently run a cycle which is just short of 2 days. But because we are endeavouring to try and increase our output, because there's been a lot of demand for filters recently, we're trying to get this cycle time down to a day, which will enable us to increase our output quite significantly.
So how long does it actually take to cook one of these moulds with the resin in it?
At the moment it takes about 36 hours, and we're going to reduce it down to about 20 hours.
So you do that by increasing the temperature in there?
It's actually done by making sure the fluid is more homogeneous when it goes in there. It's better mixed. And by doing
Just like your milk. Yeah. Oh, hello, what's your name?
Paula.
Hello, Paula. So this is a sheet of resin that's been cooked in the oven that you prepared earlier.
Yeah, we prepared 48 hours ago.
Brilliant. It's almost like a giant schoolboy chemistry set, isn't it?
Do you want to put it like that?
I don't mean to belittle
it could be
the thing,
reviewed
but
in that
it is,
way.
you know, it's like...
The process of making resin is quite old. They've been doing it for quite a few years. This is the same material that's used for the glasses that are not made from glass, or for the lenses that go in your eye. Thank you very much, Paula. And there's our resultant resin sheet, which started off as a liquid 2 days ago.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's really quite exciting. Come on then. So and from there, how do we get all these gradations and colours and all that kind of stuff?
We then go into another part of the factory where we have various employees who will actually dye the product and allow dye stuff or colour to pass into the resin material. Shall I show you?
Lead on, sir.
Thank you. And obviously the next stage is we have to get this tested to make sure it's perfectly flat.
Because a pumpy filter would be about as much use as a chocolate teapot.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I've not thought of it in that way before. I'll pass this over to Lee. Lee, would you mind testing that for us?
Hi.
So come on then, how do you make sure it's flat?
What she's actually doing here is she's putting the filter in front of a telephoto lens, which is looking at a very small target. And by looking at the result on the TV screen, you can very easily see any movement that could be caused by a filter that had any imperfection in it.
So you'd actually see like a little snag or something on that screen?
You'd see the whole image move, and as though you were trying to look underwater. It would really go out of focus quite badly.
Yeah, gotcha. Which of course is going to be critical for
It is. Thank you.
optical quality.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Okay, so it's come out of there, we're optically secure.
Okay, and now
For want of a better word.
and now we need to know how hard the filter is, because a filter that's too soft is of no use, and a filter that's too hard from a manufacturing point is no use. But you wouldn't want to put a soft filter into a lens holder on a camera, because it would bend all over the place.
Yeah, of course.
So we need to go and check that.
Right, we're going to go and bang it with something. So if you're going to bash it with a hammer to see how hard it is, can I have a go?
Oh, of course you can. We actually got a hammer here if you'd like to do that.
Rubber, Eddie, that's cheating.
Well, we actually use a slightly more sophisticated method. This is a hardness tester. We're pressing down a spike actually into the edge of the resin, so we can see the spike is actually hidden up under here.
Yeah, I can see those little holes.
It's going to make a little dent, and what the machine's doing is measuring how far the spike is actually going in for a measured amount of pressure. And that's what Emily's doing here with the machine.
And that's to make sure that each piece of resin is up to hardness that it can withstand being used, and it's not going to bend around. And
it's of the right hardness to be useful in our system of dyeing as well. So if would you like to just test this one for us, Emily, to see if it's okay? Thank you very much.
We're following the life of a piece of resin, and you're instrumental in that journey.
They'll do tests at the four corners because that makes sure the whole sheet is actually homogeneous all the way around. We obviously don't test it in the middle because you wouldn't want a filter with a little dent in it in the middle, would you?
Really, no.
Thank you very much.
Lovely,
Ellie.
thank you for that.
And this is where we're next going to bring the sheet, because we need to cut it to size and dye it.
Okay, yes.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Janice, would you be so kind? Would you like to cut that for us and turn it into a neutral density filter of some type?
So, I mean, all right, so your bubble, you're wrapping, you're laminating it.
Yes.
Tell me why you're laminating it.
We're going to laminate that because when we put it onto the cutting machine, if the bed of the cutting machine's got any bits all over it, it would put a scratch onto the surface of the resin. We wouldn't want that to happen.
No.
So the laminate, it protects it now whilst it's being cut and made to the right size.
This is incredibly hands-on though, isn't it? The whole process is like, you know, to protect that surface and to make sure you've got the optical quality.
Yes.
It's an extraordinary amount of... Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, what are we doing next?
We've got to mark it out like a template.
Okay.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay. So, yeah, obviously, I suppose you've got to mark it out.
Yeah,
So
she's going to mark it out because she knows what size filter she's going to make from that sheet. So she needs to put on, she's going to mark out that particular size. So when she dyes the product, she's actually dyeing it in the right sort of area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously we make filters of different sizes. We make 100mm square filters, we make 150 by 100mm filters. So she needs to know what she's going to do with it. Thank you, Dennis.
Oh, there we go.
And we can go and watch her cut it.
Oh, goody. Okay, so this is the big saw.
Yeah, this is actually a diamond tip carbide blade. And it's going to cut the resin filter itself. It's quite noisy, as you can hear. All the machinery was bought just specifically to make camera filters.
Was it?
Yeah.
So this isn't like an industrial thing that's been modified, this has been made specifically?
Yeah, we had a dust extractor put on it to take the dust away. We have a special blade on it. So now we've trimmed off all the edges of the filter because we don't really wish to dye the edges.
Yeah.
Because the edges will not be of a uniform nature. So we want to just dye the centre of the filter, which gives you the best possible camera filter.
Thank you, Janice. Lead on, Eddie.
Let's go this way.
So what's happening now then, Eddie?
What Janice is doing is she's actually marking it up so she knows what part of the filter she's actually going to use. As you can see, she's marking the edges of the filter so she knows where the graduated part of the filter is going to appear.
Got it.
And that gives her a clue when she's dyeing it in the tank.
When she's dunking it. Oh, here we go, look, dunking. I love this bit. This is the bit I saw years and years and years ago when I was on I think it was a Master Photographers Association tour around here or something like that. It's just amazing how skillful this is. Hang on, because you haven't got a microphone, I'm going to share my microphone. How long have you been making these?
I've been here 23 years.
Have you?
Yes.
Dunker, yeah, you a dunker? Is that what your
Yes.
job title is?
That's not dunker, it's a resin dyer.
A resin dyer?
Yes.
I think it's pretty amazing, the skill which must go into it. So when you're making, say, a hard grad or a soft grad, you obviously dunk differently.
Yes.
So when you're making a...
Yeah, with a hard you only slightly move it, with a soft you're moving it a lot more, so you get the softer effect at the top.
So this is a soft grad?
No, this is a hard.
This is a hard grad?
Yes.
Shows what I know.
You only move it slightly with a hard.
What kind of temperature are the dyes at?
Yeah, 90 degrees I'm supposed to be turning the tins on.
Are they? 90 degrees
Yeah.
centigrade.
Yeah.
And that slowly kind of soaks into the...
Into the sheets, yeah.
It's quite amazing. So do you have an innate sort of like natural feel for, I think this one's about cook now?
Yeah, I suppose with experience, I think you can just pick it up with knowing whether you're dark enough or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that, it's taken up colour already. Just see the beginnings of a gradation going on behind it. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Can you turn that so again? Here you go, Eddie's shirt. Eddie, come and model for us. Look at that, you
There's
just see it's starting already. That's amazing. Go on then, oh, it's exciting.
And we'll turn this into a 0.6, probably about a 2-stop filter.
Okay, so that'll be a 2-stop neutral density filter.
Yeah.
So that's going to take away, that's going to filter out, like the tea strainer, 4 times the amount of light from the bottom. So what's this machine doing? Here you are, Janice, you can share my mic. I'm friendly.
It's actually reading the density of the actual filter.
So you're kind of putting a beam through the filter, through the neutral, through the
Yes.
the dyed part, and the computer is telling you.
It will tell me whether I'm dark enough, or basically whether I'm dark enough, and the X and Y will tell me whereabouts I am here, so I need to correct it.
And if it's a little bit over dark, does it then suddenly go from being a 2-stop neutral density filter? Does it then change its destiny and become a 4-stop neutral density
No, you
filter?
could lighten it up.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, you can lighten them up, or if you need to go a bit more, which obviously at the moment I'm not dark enough, so I would go back into the mix.
Ah, great. Okay. Brilliant.
Are you in control of your eyebrows?
Yes,
I'm not in control of mine.
I'm not in control of mine. I can only do it like that though. Oh, sorry. Right, after 20 minutes of skillful dunking, the piece of resin has achieved its target density. Janice has gone off and she's cleaned it up and relaminated it and cut it into 3 brand spanking new filters. And right on cue, ta-da! Janice with 3 shiny, sparkly new leaf filters. And I'm guessing from now on, cleanliness is pretty important. What happens?
Well, they now have to be kept ultra clean, so Janice will go off, clean them up, wrap them up for us, and then we'll take them into the packaging area where the filters will be assigned to which customer they're going to.
Yeah, because I mean, this is absolutely crucial now, isn't it? You wouldn't want to buy a leaf filter with a fingerprint on it.
No, not at all. No, this is now, it's very important. There's so much time and effort's gone into this now. You don't want to make a mistake and scratch it, or drop it, or...
Yeah, and I mean, it is tremendously labour intensive, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
how long would you say? So what's the process? You've got, I don't know, however many millilitres of initial chemical which made that filter. How long would you say that process is from dropping into the mould?
Well, that took us, that's a 2-day cycle, and then it comes here, and it probably, Janice has been working on it with us for half a day to where we are.
It's extraordinary value, really, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, you think how much work's gone into that, how much labour, and let's face it, labour's the most expensive thing in the whole wide world, to create that filter. It really is quite an investment.
And then the final thing will be we'll take it through, put it into the pouch, and then it'll go on its way to a happy customer somewhere.
Absolutely.
And obviously we can't send the filters out like this, so
Yeah.
they have to be coming here for a final inspection and to be marked up. And Leslie would be so kind as to
This is the
look after
retail
these for
nerve
us.
centre then. This is where this last stop before everything goes off to your camera. Brilliant. So what are you doing? So Leslie, you're giving it a last clean.
Yeah, it's a last clean, a last inspection. And then
Because, hang on, I'm going to give you some microphone because we haven't got one on top of the camera.
it's a last clean, and a last inspection, and then it's printed and pouched.
Got you, printed.
Yes.
What
On
with?
the video jet machine.
Oh, right. Oh, you've got a little trendy machine here. This is how you put the leaf filters thing
Yes,
on the bottom
yeah,
of each.
yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, here we go,
Sprays
look.
on there.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Can I borrow that? Hang on.
Yeah.
Can I just, I don't know if you can see that. Look. It's a little, if I hold it against my shirt, there's a little tiny leaf thing on there. Isn't that cool? Isn't that good? Bet you wish you had one. There you go. Give that back to you. And again, everything's all by hand, isn't it? So it's all beautifully wrapped by hand. Look how nice. I bet she does good Christmas presents. Into the pouch. And there we have it. Thank you very much. That's for me, you see it.
You may.
May I?
Yes, that's all right.
Oh, that'll call that
Where was the invoice going to?
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. Yeah, I'll buy you lunch. Okay. So there you have it. That is how your Lee filter comes to be in that little pouch through all these amazing people's hands and an awful lot of skill and hard work.